Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the COP Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you is having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to a breaking news episode for you guys this evening. And that is that Liverpool are planning to trigger the release clause of Jeremie Frimpong, the £30 million release clause that, of course, we've known about for the last few days, of course. But according to Paul Joyce, it is confirmed that Liverpool are planning to trigger the £30 million release clause, which, again, is absolutely fantastic news to hear about. Of course, I think Jeremie Frimpong will be an amazing player for Liverpool Football Club. Of course, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. And look, I think it's a fantastic deal. I think, looking at it, and of course, we'll look at the article piece in a moment, but I do think the Jeremie Frimpong move to Liverpool, it makes so much sense, of course, as a replacement for obviously Trent, and of course, to add an extra element to Liverpool's team. I think it's a very, very good and smart signing from the Reds, of course, which does, get Richard Hughes's first signing of the summer, and we're not even the transfer window's not even open yet either. So again, we're going to talk about it, get your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, of course, get your reactions as well, of course. And look, we're going to dive straight into the article piece from, of course, Paul Joyce, as it does say, but they're Liverpool to trigger. Let me just quickly make the size a little bit smaller. So there we go. So it is going to say that Liverpool to trigger Jeremie Frimpong's release clause, the Premier League champions expected to sign Bayer Leverkusen right back for £30 million as part of the summer recruitment drive. Liverpool are expected to approach Bayer Leverkusen and formally trigger the £30 million release clause that will make Jeremie Frimpong the first signing of the club's summer recruitment drive. Frimpong, 24, has been identified as one of the players who will bring a freshness to Arne Slot's reshaped squad as Liverpool head coach looks to build on the success or the season's title success. There's also an interest in Leverkusen teammate Florian Wirtz, whom Liverpool have tracked for a number of years, and should he show an indication to a move to the Premier League this summer, then the champions will make a strong pitch, which again, great news for the Florian Wirtz side of things as well. But it does go on to say, in terms of Frimpong, of course, Frimpong and Netherlands international is an attractive proposition for Liverpool, given his versatility, versatile and relentless low price, by virtue of the clause, of course. Obviously, the £30 million release clause is around 29 point odd, but of course rounded up to the 30, as well as he's played on the right wing at Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso, but lined up on the right side of the Netherlands attack in a 4-2-3-1 formation in their Nations League game against Spain in March. Earlier in his career, Frimpong played at right back for Celtic. That the player was at Manchester City's academy between 2010 and 2019, means he would count as a homegrown player of Liverpool, which of course is great from losing Trent Alexander-Arnold, which of course, that's the big aim though as well, isn't it? The fact that, look, Liverpool are not only just going to lose Trent, that is, obviously a Liverpool player, but of course, we're going to lose that homegrown quota, which again is huge, really. I think in terms of building the squad, and of course having that player that can replace that, I think of course is a tremendous thing, of course, to get back. But not only that, of course, it does go on to say, but the looming departure of Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid on a free transfer has promoted Slot, the sporting director Richard Hughes, and Michael Edwards, chief executive of football at Liverpool owner FSG, to reflect on the makeup of the squad. And it does also go on to say that Conor Bradley is viewed as somebody who possesses the qualities to thrive at right back, and the club's medical and performance department will work on a plan to help the Northern Ireland international overcome the fitness issues that he has had. Obviously backed him up this season. Joe Gomez, Joel Konza, and Curtis Jones have also played at the right back, but Frimpong's versatility would give Slot further options. Discussing on personal terms have been taking place with Frimpong, who has been keen on a move to Merseyside, where he could join his international teammates Virgil van Dijk, Cody Gakpo, and Ryan Gravenberch. A formal approach to Leverkusen, who travel to Mainz this weekend for the final game of the season, will follow, of course. So again, great news from Paul Joyce. which again, like, he is the number one guy, isn't he, for Liverpool? Of course, like we've said it over the last couple of nights, haven't we, that I think for me, Jeremie Frimpong would be an amazing, signing for Liverpool. Again, £30 million, it would be as well. That for me is the big one, where I think you look at it and go, like, Jeremie Frimpong is that type of player that, okay, can play right back, can play right wing, can also probably play, more inverted as well. I do think as well with his play styles. I think he's a very, very good, versatile right back to have. And look, I know people are worried because of the defensive work, but again, I think number one, he can improve on that, and number two, I think you watch Liverpool this week against Arsenal. This weekend just gone. And I think we kind of understand now how Liverpool are maybe going to build for next season. Of course, obviously, with also having, rumoured to Florian Wirtz and other people as well. Already, it looks like, again, Liverpool preparing for the next step in this, development under Arne Slot. And, now Jeremie Frimpong is, I would say, probably the first significant signing. I know, of course, we ended up signing Federico Chiesa last season, but obviously it hasn't developed much into anything. So look, I do think obviously this is the first major signing, I would say, of course, in terms of, us shifting into the Arne Slot way of thinking and the way of, playing as a team and, moving forward. Of course, obviously Dutch international, like we've mentioned already. I think, it's huge, having the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Cody Gakpo, and of course Ryan Gravenberch, who supposedly Jeremie Frimpong is very, very good friends with as well. So again, he should bed in very, very quickly. And I think, I'm already excited for next season. I don't know about you guys in the comments watching. For me, I'm very much excited for the future, and I'm very much excited for next season. Really, I think we could, there's a strong possibility if Liverpool get things right, that Liverpool could go on and win the league title again. And I think that's the thing, really. I think that's the language that's being used so far, in briefings and in terms of, reports and other bits and pieces, is the fact that Liverpool are looking to retain the Premier League. We're not looking to, again, build up again for the next 5 years and, having to wait again another 5 years for a league title. Liverpool want to defend the Premier League title next season. And they believe, again, number one is Jeremie Frimpong. Again, if there's encouragement there, Florian Wirtz is another name as well, which, again, I think everyone would love, Liverpool to go all in on Florian Wirtz. I think, we're talking about a generational talent then, really, in that regard. But of course, obviously, stiff competition from obviously Bayern Munich and Manchester City, if he was to leave Bayer Leverkusen. And look, I look at it and go, Liverpool, they have to get things right this summer, because again, we could talk about Liverpool signing, this, that, and the other. But of course, in terms of departures as well, it'll be interesting to see how many people do leave Liverpool. And then that means, of course, we'd have to sign replacements for these players. And of course, then that would obviously take down the budget then, really, in terms of what Liverpool could do, for the rest of the summer. But I think we will, and this is no guaranteed on my end, but I do think Liverpool will make one massive marquee signing this summer. Of course, like I've said just now, that Frimpong is the first, of the summer. But I mean, in terms of, transfer fee, and I do think Liverpool are going to spend big on one or two players, really, because it's funny how we heard, what was it, about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that Liverpool were only looking to upgrade the squad. We wasn't looking at backups. We were looking to move forward. And I think we're probably looking at it, I would turn around and say, look, Liverpool absolutely will turn around and win the Premier League next season if we get the certain signings right. Like, for example, if we get the number 9 that we want, if we were to sign Florian Wirtz as well, what's to say that, potentially Florian Wirtz isn't the number 9 that Liverpool are looking at, in terms of playing a false 9 for this season alone, and obviously next season, I mean, and in terms of potentially other, other summers, we look at another number 9, really, obviously it looks like Alexander Isak is not available this summer, the Liverpool wait a year and then go and sign him. We've done that in the past when, Virgil van Dijk, we obviously know for many reasons, there was a certain problem there when Liverpool couldn't get Virgil van Dijk, waited 6 months, and then ended up getting the deal done. And I do think that could be another possibility for Liverpool. I really do. I think Liverpool could wait for the number 9 that they want. Have the kind of the 2 10s up top. with Luis Diaz or Gakpo on the left, Mo Salah on the right, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, McAllister, Gravenberch then in the 2 6s, with Frimpong and Kirk bombing forward. You could absolutely see that, and I really could see it. It'll be very, 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 very interesting to see what happens next season anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, on the breaking news that, again, Jeremie Frimpong has signed for Liverpool. Not quite yet, but of course, the release clause looks like it's going to be triggered by Liverpool as well anyway. But big up Heroes was saying, hi Con, we'll have to rewatch this later. Just got home. No worries, mate. Hopefully you are doing well as well. But yeah, no, look, obviously the big breaking news is, of course, Liverpool are looking to trigger the release clause, which obviously means the personal terms are pretty much agreed with now. Of course, obviously Lewis Steele as well, also reporting on it as well, saying that exactly the same as Paul Joyce, that Liverpool are looking to, of course, trigger the release clause, which is around 29.6 million pounds, which again, like you can pretty much make that out to be 30 million pounds. And again, for 30 million pounds for somebody who market value is around 45 million pounds, again, it's tremendous business from Liverpool. It really is. And we've managed to act very, very quickly in this as well. It's not only the fact that, all right, Liverpool have been interested in Jeremie Frimpong now for about 6 months, nearly, at that level, around November, December time, Liverpool started looking into Frimpong that we know of now. And of course, obviously the last week, or I think ever since Liverpool had it properly confirmed that Trent was going to be leaving, that they've gone all in for Jeremie Frimpong. Contact was made with Frimpong's representatives very early in March. Obviously, the same time that Trent told Liverpool he was leaving Liverpool, that Trent told Liverpool he was leaving the club. And then, of course, Liverpool have then gone on to get in contact with Frimpong's representatives, work on a deal, and now have contacted Bayer Leverkusen, which, of course, Liverpool are very respectful in that way. I think Brighton owners in the past have spoken about it in terms of how Liverpool do their business and how Liverpool are very what's the right word? Liverpool are very respectful then of other teams in terms of getting the business done, and certainly not like a Real Madrid who again just walk in and expect everything for them. But again, the relationship between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen will be good from it. Of course, I think it was already good, wasn't it? Looking at Xabi Alonso a couple, last year as well. So I think looking at it, of course, we could be in with maybe tomorrow having the news that he's going to join Liverpool as well, because look, I think Bayer Leverkusen, like I said there, I think they play Mainz on the last day on Saturday as well. I think it is Saturday or Sunday. So again, you'd most likely expect he'll be wanting to say goodbye to the Bayer Leverkusen fans as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we heard, here we go tomorrow, or even later on tonight, if we heard more news on it. But again, obviously the Paul Joyce news is the fact that Liverpool have triggered, or looking to trigger, the deal anyway, as it does say, for quickly bringing the article piece back up for you guys that's just tuning in right now, from Paul Joyce, as the headline says for you guys can see on the screen right now. It says there, Liverpool to trigger the Jeremie Frimpong release clause as well. And again, £30 million, it's an absolute steal, really. And again, one thing I will say though as well is the fact that this has been wrapped up very quickly. Like we just mentioned, I think overall Liverpool could have easily, looked at it and gone, oh, maybe we might wait, maybe there might be another option. Like, obviously, we were going to do a video on it. Vanderson was a name that was getting spoken about a couple of weeks ago as well for Liverpool. But for Jeremie Frimpong, again, price, experience, overall player as well, I think there is no other better option out there at the moment than Jeremie Frimpong. And of course, Frimpong, I think, offers you similar to what Hakimi does at PSG. I really think, obviously, that we've mentioned previously on the channel of how Arne Slot has really learned from our opposition teams this season. We're going to do a video on it that might come out tomorrow. It might come out tomorrow morning about how Frimpong is the right fit for Liverpool. And I do think we're going to see similar traits to how PSG do things. I really do. I really do see a lot of Frimpong and Hakimi and how we do things and how they do things. And I think that is the new style of it, because you kind of look at PSG this season. They've played Dembele in that striker false nine role, and it's worked wonders for them. Obviously, having Kvaratskhelia, having Barcola as well next to Dembele, that has really driven and drive PSG into the Champions League final. And I think that is the major thing for me that he has learned from and really developed on, and looked at it and gone, yeah, I want Liverpool to be that team, the team that's feared in Europe. Because to be fair to PSG, they've done amazing this year. And I think for Liverpool, especially Arne Slot, he's very much wants to be like that. He wants to be the team that's feared the most in Europe. Obviously, the Premier League, we're by far the best team in the Premier League, but I think in Europe next season, we want to be better. We want to be in the Champions League final. We want to be winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League as well. And I think if you give Liverpool fans an option to win number 21 or win number 7, I think it's a lot more of a conversation next season than I think it would have been in the summer just gone. I really do. I think if you offered a comparison, or if you listen, or a general conversation of what would you rather win? Would you rather win number 7 or would you rather win number 21? I think it would be a big conversation around that anyway. But like overall on the Jeremie Frimpong signing, I think it's an amazing deal. I think it's great that Liverpool have got this done. And the fact, look, I hope now this isn't the end of Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen. Hopefully, a certain Florian Wirtz is also on the cards for Liverpool this summer. But of course, that's just a dream at the moment, of course. But again, hopefully we'll have more special signings coming in, and hopefully, very, very quickly, obviously with the transfer window basically opening on the 1st of June, it's going to be a very quick transfer window. Of course, I would say, because look, the Club World Cup is about as well. So of course they'll want to quickly get things in conversation anyway. But let's have a look at the chat anyway. But Hycon, we'll have to rewatch this later. I already read that out, apologies. Hero as well. Hello, Macendo. As for the ice emojis. Lads, Richard Hughes bossing it deserves huge credit. Yeah, no, he does. Like, again, I think on an overall sense, look, a lot of criticism was in last season for not bringing in a number 6, and obviously throughout the season not doing anything with Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. Of course, got them signed, and now, yeah, it's now looking good, of course. But we're gonna have to wait and see, of course, and the club as well. Yeah, but give credit to, again, the right people at the minute anyway. But both, I think that's when I was talking about Premier League and Champions League. Anyway, look, for me, it would be both. Absolutely, it would be both. But look, who knows? But we just needed to be patient, and he didn't panic. True. It is very true that he didn't panic. I also look at it, though, and it's kind of like, for me, even now in the summer, if they don't think there's anyone out there for the number 9, like, this is why I think potentially Florian Wirtz makes a lot of sense. If you play, this season, Liverpool have looked probably at their best when we had the front three of when we had the midfield three of Lucho, Gakpo, and Mo. That was the best front three of the season. And I wonder if we was to sign Florian Wirtz, if then the front three becomes Wirtz, Gakpo or Diaz, and then Mo Salah. But also you're playing kind of the false 10 like we did against City earlier on the season, and what we have done in plenty of games this season. I think that's what Liverpool might end up doing, because you look at the market, Alvarez and Isak look like both of them are not available, unfortunately. And then you've got the options then of what Kirkez. Obviously Kirkez at left back, but you've got Sesko, you've got Ekatike, you've got Gyökeres. Is there any other list? Obviously Victor Osimhen as well, which I don't really see that happening either. Like I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and they said, take a look at Sesko maybe for Liverpool, and it's like I can't see it personally. At a certain price point, yeah, sure, maybe, but again, I don't think Liverpool are going to wait. Personally, I just don't think Liverpool are going to hope on potential again. Again, Liverpool want the real deal now, and the wording that's getting used around, especially around, for next season, is that Liverpool want a bagsman now. They want a killer now. They want an Alexander Isak, for example, now, because they don't want to be wasting another 2 or 3 years, kind of with, like Darwin Núñez, really, and somebody that has potential, somebody who has shown to have potential, but again, just hasn't developed and hasn't worked out really in the Premier League. Liverpool can't really afford that. Yes, we've been fortunate this season that we've gone on and won the league title from it, but on an overall consensus, having our striker only have 6-7 goals isn't good enough really to win you a Premier League. Unfortunately, it's not. We've been fortunate enough that Mo Salah is that guy, but if you have a false 9 that's scoring you 10 goals, for example, but then also assisting you, 12 or 14 assists, again, that benefits from it then, because then hopefully you're benefiting then on goals from your left winger, your attacking midfielder, your right forward as well. Even people like Frimpong as well. Frimpong coming forward and scoring and assisting as well. Again, that's hopefully what's going to happen next season for sure, as well. But if we bring in the incoming, and then sell players at the right price, we could do some more deals. Yeah, true, 100%. Núñez, the 60-70 million to Saudi. 70 million, 100%. But the fella from Sporting is the dream. Just don't think Isak is possible. Can get 2 to 3 players for what Newcastle would want, sadly. I think Liverpool, like I said earlier, I think Liverpool will spend big this summer. I do. I think Liverpool will spend big on one signing. I'm not going to lie with him, Mac. I do think we will sign big on one. Whether or not that's Isak, I don't think it will be. But I do think Liverpool will go huge on a player, because we can do that, as well. Or I have the feeling Salah might go central and 2 10s. Yeah, I think that's most likely what will happen. Really, I do. Big up Midnight Sourcing. I would be in dreamland if we got Florian Wirtz. Same, absolutely same, mate. I would absolutely be in absolute dreamland, and it would show that Liverpool have an intentment to win, and also it would kind of change the pyramid really of where Liverpool stand, because we don't tend to sign superstars. We make superstars. We made Mo Salah, we made Sadio Mane, we made Bobby Firmino. The only superstar you can say we've probably signed, certainly in recent history, was Thiago Alcantara. Thiago was the only person Liverpool signed, only player, that Liverpool signed that could have been declared as a superstar, because for me at the time when we signed Thiago, he was the best midfielder in world football. The only one that again rivaled him was Kevin De Bruyne. But in that season, in the 1920 season, the best midfielder in the world was Thiago. Yeah, Thiago won the treble that year with Bayern. No, and he was by far the best midfielder of that season. But again, Kevin De Bruyne was also in that conversation as well. And look, if we was to sign Florian Wirtz, for me, it would show that a true intentment to retain the Premier League. It absolutely would. And again, like yesterday, I was a bit. I was saying to a couple of people yesterday, I would be angry. Like I was angry a bit yesterday in terms of Liverpool's name being used in the Vert situation, and then when obviously the more information was coming out, I was like, do you know what? I can understand, Liverpool really showing their intent, and if there is intentment there, if Liverpool doing a deal, then I'd be absolutely all for it. 100%, I'd be in for it. But what do you think on if Florian Wirtz was a false 10? That would be insane. Yeah, I think you could see that. I think you could see Dom. I think you could see Florian Wirtz as a double 10 and go from there, really. Yeah, 100% you could see that. Again, last season in the Bundesliga or this season in the Bundesliga, 10 goals, 12 assists. Of course, one thing I think some people have mentioned it as well for Frimpong as well is, of course, when we played Leverkusen this season in the Champions League, we invited Bayer Leverkusen to the AXA training ground to have the training facilities for a day. I think it was because I think again they were training, and then I think they went back to Germany. And again, that relationship between Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool, great relationship. And also, Wirtz would have seen, the Liverpool team that absolutely battered that Leverkusen team. Probably the only team apart from Atalanta to really take apart that Leverkusen side. But you also had, Frimpong was in that team. Wirtz was also in that team. Again, Liverpool have showed their class, really. And again, he's probably looking at it and going, oh, I could go, and his options vary, don't they? Like you've got Bayern Munich, who the reports in Germany is that his dad, who is also his agent, is very upset with obviously all the Bayern Munich news that's come out over the last couple of days and weeks. You've got Manchester City, who can offer him the world, can't they, in terms of price, in terms of, contract. And then you've got Liverpool, the history, the club, the fans, the city, again, reigning Premier League champions as well, and are looking to win the Premier League again. While also, by the way, if on another day, Liverpool had maybe a Florian Wirtz, go on and beat PSG and probably then go on to win the Champions League or go on to be at least in the final of the Champions League. Because I think Liverpool beat Villa and I think Liverpool beat Arsenal over 2 legs as well. And that, for me, that's the big one. Again, one result change could have had Liverpool in a Champions League final. Absolutely, it could have done as well. But look, do I think he'll sign? Maybe. Maybe. But of course, Frimpong already confirmed. Again, Liverpool are looking to trigger the release clause anyway. But lads, the age profile of the squad for Liverpool, can't have a look at the potential 22 on average. Yeah, unbelievable. It's definitely an interesting one. But Midnight says Wirtz family did have some problem with Bayern, so he did travel to Manchester, but instead he was in Liverpool instead. So that makes my hopes go up. Well, he was in Blackpool, wasn't he? Which again, Liverpool-Blackpool trips are back anyway. But yeah, no, he was in Blackpool, wasn't he? He visited Manchester City. He did, visit Manchester City, and of course, more importantly, he visited Liverpool as well. But yeah, I think if Liverpool have encouragement that and judging by the words from Paul Joyce and judging by the words of other people as well, if there is any hope of him turning down Bayern Munich and going out this comfort zone and leaving the Bundesliga, Liverpool, I think, would be number one for him. I really do. I think City, of course, City want him for a Kevin De Bruyne replacement, but I think Liverpool will have a real go at him. And look, people go, 120 million, will Liverpool do it? Caicedo. Liverpool, we're going to go for Caicedo. We're going to bid 110 million. or did bid 110 million, and of course that day it didn't work out. But still, Liverpool have money. Liverpool will, if the player is the right player, if it's the right fit, like with Jeremie Frimpong, if it's the right player, Liverpool will do the deal. And again, if Florian Wirtz, if they believe he is the right guy for Liverpool, if they believe, like, again, he's the superstar to drive Liverpool forward to win another league title, Liverpool will 100% go and do the deal. Absolutely 100% as well. Anyway, but Midnight says, I hope Frimpong can have some impact on his decision on the transfer, so he might end up in Liverpool, hopefully, as well. But I'm excited. I'm very excited to see this man in the Liverpool kit, as you guys can see below. But yeah, I'm very excited to see whether or not if Jeremie Frimpong can attract Florian Wirtz to Liverpool anyway. But I'm also very excited for his transfer. I'm very excited to see how Liverpool are for next season as well. Because I think Liverpool could potentially be even better than what we are this season as well anyway. But look, I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank. Well, I say tonight for this evening. We will be back at 9 p.m. Of course, because we have more news to talk about. Of course, we'll be talking more about Florian Wirtz, more about Jeremie Frimpong, Adam Wharton as well. We'll also be discussing Federico Chiesa. All the news, of course, will be live 9 p.m. UK time. Of course, make sure you are staying tuned towards the channel as always. But yes, it will be 9 p.m. Usual time for us. Of course, obviously, it is breaking news with the Frimpong news, so I thought we'd be live early, of course. But look, hopefully, you guys have a fantastic rest of your days anyway. But still, please do come back at 9 p.m. Of course, we'll be talking Frimpong, we'll be talking Wirtz, we'll be talking Chiesa. Adam Wharton as well. There's other transfers we'll be talking about, of course, so make sure you are staying tuned. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button as well, because we are on the road to 4K before the end of next season. That's the hope, that's the dream. Of course, obviously we've smashed recently, of course, going from 1K to 2K to 3K. Now we're hoping for 4K very, very quickly as well. And yeah, hopefully that will be the case in a couple of weeks' time anyway. But look, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you guys a bit later on for, again, more news to do with Liverpool anyway. But until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the COC Council. I'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.